8 hours more, right? It should be at 6 o'clock.
Yeah. Mark, can you hear us?
Can hear you. Yeah, can you hear me?
There you go. I was just about to text you. I said, listen, I hope I didn't fuck up the time.
I thought I did, to be fair, so I'm glad I didn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we were all good.
So it's 6 o'clock for you though, right?
At 6 o'clock in the evening.
Awesome. Thank you for making the time, brother.
I'm very grateful to be on here. So,
and it's a great way to finally meet each other, man. Because I heard about you, but I never got a chance to meet you. Did anybody meet Mark before?
No, I didn't. Pleasure meeting you, Mark. I'm a big fan of you and your career.
Yeah, man, for sure, man. We love your physique.
Do you guys remember when Mark's name came up first? I don't know if we had the old school round table back then. I think it was just me and talking to James Hollingshead. Right. And James Hollingshead is the one because I said, who is the best guy in England? Because I figured there's Samson, James, Nathan. I wanted to ask him, I said, who do you think is the best? And he told me, he said, yeah, but everybody should watch out. This guy's coming, Marc Hector. That's when I first heard about you.
Yeah, to be fair, James has always said positive things about me. So yeah, I do appreciate him saying that.
Yeah. No, I listen, he had every reason to say that because when I saw you on stage, I was like, fuck, I was blown away. I really liked your physique, I mean, nobody on that stage was really perfect. If you want to go in with an expert eye and ask Chris, to break someone down, we'll find all kinds of flaws, But,
To be fair, I did watch the one, what you did with Martin. With Fitzwater, where you spoke a little bit on the podcast on the Big Man Weekend, and I took on the feedback, what I think Chris was saying, and you were saying everyone's sort of got flaws, and I think that's bodybuilding.
Yeah.
We all want to have something more, and even if it's perfect, it's not quite perfect.
Right. And you were there and you were gone for a while. Take us back on what happened.
So it's quite a story. So the last time I competed was in 2022. So originally my pro debut was 2020. That's when I was working with Abdullah. So that was during the COVID time. So that was the Europa show, NPC European. I placed 7th out of around, I think it's about 24 people. So it's the biggest show at that point. And then a few weeks later, before COVID hit again, I went and done the UK Pro Show and I placed 3rd behind Regan and also James Hollingshead. So then from there, I took a 2-year gap. I knew I needed to add more size to my physique. I started working with a coach from the UK. No reason why I wasn't sort of working with Abdullah, but I just needed someone a little bit closer to work with because I actually went out to Kuwait for a little bit as well. So before COVID hit, I was out there for 2 months, was planning to be out there for about 7 months. So from there, I competed in 2022, and my first show was at Arnold's UK, and I placed 5th. And I kid you not, that was the worst feeling on stage because that was the biggest show I ever competed in, but I didn't look the way I wanted to look. Conditioning was way off. When I spoke to the head judge, when I spoke to people like Jay Cutler, Flex Wheeler, I said, look, you've got great shape, symmetry, but your condition was just off. So
is this the show that Andrew Jack won?
That's the one, yeah. So Andrew won that one. Patrick Johnson came 2nd. James Hollingshead, Martin came 3rd, James Hollingshead 4th, and I was 5th in that one. So I spoke to my coach at the time and I said to him, what do we need to do? He just said, you needed to be tighter. And I was like, I've done a 24-week prep. I'm used to doing 14-week prep or 16-week preps. I'm in condition. So hearing that and coming 5th, that hurt quite bad. So my plan was to do a few weeks later, there was like an Italy show and there was also some Spain shows. And from the Arnold's UK to France, which was a week later, I dropped around 6 kg and I literally entered the show like on the day. So I took a Eurotunnel from London, went over to France, and I came 2nd in that show. So I missed out by 1 point behind Patrick Johnson. So conditioning was getting better, but I still wasn't quite there. And then my third show, so I did 3 shows in 3 weeks. I did the Italy tsunami show and I placed third at that show. And because I still wanted to qualify for the Olympia, I kept on going. But at that point, my knee sort of gave out. It blew out in the sense that it was so inflamed from cardio and trying to push my body to get leaner. But my body just pretty much gave up. So that's why I hadn't competed for a little while from 2022 to 2024. But in that time as well, I've had some shoulder problems. And to say the least, even me competing this last weekend, I put a YouTube out yesterday. I didn't think it was going to be realistic. So I know the feedback, what you were saying about Chris with the imbalances and stuff, but so I've had 2 shoulder operations. I've got arthritis in my shoulder, and I've also got a bone growth, what goes from about here to here, which is about 3.5 to 4 centimeters. So for me to be able to do a front double bicep pose, a rear double bicep pose, a front lat spread, I couldn't do that for about a good year. And when I've had 2 surgeries within the space of a year, keyhole surgeries. The first one was in December, which was to try and open up the space within the shoulder, clean it up, and that should have been enough to get me to be able to get into my poses. So I had that operation, seen the videos from the surgeon, everything looked good. It was the same surgeon who'd done Nathan Diash's biceps. So he was a top-class surgeon, went privately. And 2 weeks later, I was thinking, this still isn't right. I can't get into my poses. But I'm seeing the videos where he's saying that the surgery went really, really well.
Takes time, huh?
So I went and seen him again, and he said, it's still not right. We're going to have to repeat the procedure. So I had 1 operation in December last year, and I had another one in May. So my last operation was 7 months ago. So the second operation still wasn't right, still wasn't corrected. So during this time when I can't train my upper body properly, everyone used to say, and everyone probably still says, Mark, you need more legs, you need to work on your calves, you need to work on your hamstrings. So I was training 4 times a week, a push and a pull workout, and I was doing 2 leg workouts. But those 2 leg workouts was like, this is life or death. I need to make these legs grow. So after going to see the surgeon again, he referred me to another specialist, and he said, I think you're probably going to need open surgery, and you're either probably going to need like a shoulder replacement or a partial replacement. So I'm like, you've told me this a year ago. We spent almost a year. I'm no further gone, not competed since 2022, didn't like how I looked in 2022, and I've not achieved what I wanted to achieve. So 5 weeks ago, went to see an orthopedic surgeon, and he basically said to me, we can't operate on your shoulder because of your size. He said, there's going to be one of 2 things. If we operate, you're either going to hit a nerve and there's going to be no function down your right side at all, or you're going to hemorrhage and you're going to bleed to death. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking,
I'll tell you what you need. You need stem cells.
okay.
You need to give stem cells a shot, man.
Yeah.
Because if
I've heard
yeah,
as well.
I mean, I'm not saying you're going to be brand new, but I'm saying I believe that this could possibly help you without doing any more surgeries.
Yeah. So just to go back to what he said. So he's told me that, and I'm sitting there and I'm feeling numb. So with my coach who I'm currently working with, we had done a dieting phase anyway. So I dieted down for about 10 weeks. I was fairly lean. I came out of the appointment and I called him and I said to him, if this is going to be my last show or they're telling me I can't compete again, we need to compete at 1 show this year. And he said, let's go. Let's have a look. Let's have a look, see what shows are there. And that's when I decided to go for the big man weekend. And I've put some pictures on my latest YouTube. Up until around 2 weeks ago, I couldn't even hit a front double bicep. Up until around 2 months ago, I couldn't hit a front lat spread, and I couldn't hit a rear double bicep as well. but I've been seeing a physio like twice a week to work on getting inflammation down. I've just paid over £2,000 for a machine to keep the shoulder healthy. And in all of this time, mentally it's been challenging, but I've always been thinking, I'm going to get back on stage. So I need to keep ticking the boxes.
So, Mark, are you saying you couldn't do those poses because of pain or because of stiffness?
Stiffness. So I couldn't physically get my arm to here. I couldn't get a bicep post to here. I couldn't get into external rotation. A front lat spread, I couldn't even get my lats out to actually.
If I'm not mistaken, but this reminds me of someone who had the same issue, who couldn't do the front double biceps, and he thought it was the shoulder too. And come to find out, it was his neck. Dennis Wolf.
Okay.
He had that problem where he couldn't get it up, and I think he thought it was his shoulders. And they found out it was his neck, so they fused his neck.
Right.
And then he tried to do a comeback, but he was never the same, because it's hard, especially if you're at the end of the career, anyways. Even though he wasn't really at the end. But it's harder to come back from that. But yeah, they fused his neck.
Right. So for me, they said like even where the problem arose is, so I'm quite wide anyway, but they said because my smaller stabilizer muscles in the shoulder, they haven't been firing. So over time, it was wearing down the shoulder. So I can give you an example, even training wise. So upper body, I've not been able to train my upper body the way I would have liked for the past 2 years. Like an incline Smith press, I could put 2.5 kg on the side. That was how much I could lift.
2.5?
2.5. And then I was working with a physio to actually build up the strength, a guy called Rapid. And during prep, I was lifting like 50 kg each side. And the difference from where I was a couple of years ago to now, and even posing wise, getting on stage this last weekend, I've said to people, me coming fourth personally is like a win, because the doctors wrote me off 5 weeks ago. They said you won't be able to compete ever again. And I'm thinking, I've done everything I've needed to do, because in 2022, I did not like how I looked at all. So every single day since then, even the hard days, I've been making sure I'm not missing a meal, getting my steps in, getting my cardio in, training my abs, training my legs. If I can't do a full lat pull down, I'm working as best as I can to give me the best chance, because as far as I'm concerned, I don't want that 2022 to be my defining moment of how I looked.
With all that being said, we can't tell.
Yeah, no.
You would have never thought that you had all these complications going in. Like I said, everyone has an imbalance in their physique, but I mean, to me, it didn't look like you had any type of drawbacks like what you're speaking of. So that's a good thing.
I think the biggest difference is, aside from working with the physio and the machine, what I've got is, as I've started to come down in body weight, so I've lost body weight, my body's become more mobile, so that mobility has increased as well. But it's also how I've also displayed my poses. So I've switched how I do a front double bicep. So I won't stand straight on. I'll stagger my legs and I'll twist a little bit from the waist so I can actually get a bit more lat pop and you can see the biceps. So I had to work around things. It wasn't perfect, but it was perfect enough for me to say, you know what, from where I was 5 weeks ago when you're saying that Marc Hector's done, I don't feel like I'm done at all.
How much posing did you do, practice-wise?
So towards the end, I was posing like twice in the morning, and then I'll go and do some posing in the evening.
When you say towards the end, what's that? The last week, the last 2 weeks, the last 3 months?
So the plan was so my prep was essentially 5 weeks, because I had done a 10-week dieting phase. I've been in off season for 5 months. Then I started to reverse diet, and then I was still quite lean. My lean was like, you could still see the lines in the glutes. So my coach said, from where you are now, with what shows are there, because we originally looked at Prague, which would have been 3 weeks. He said, if we go for the last show, that gives us 5 weeks. And in 5 weeks, we know that you can be in condition. So I literally had 5 weeks to pose, but I couldn't do the poses of a front double bicep or a front lat spread properly. So I worked around it until I got to the point where I can actually hit those poses.
Mark, you did an unbelievable job. Give yourself a credit. We didn't know about all the troubles, but now that I hear and you speak pretty much in that depressive mode, like, oh my God, it's maybe over. I didn't like what was 2022. Doctors told me I'm never gonna do this again. I can't hit the pose. I can't have external rotation. Can't train my upper body. I mean, so I don't know. I'm just watching you right now, and your face is not filled with joy, which it should be. I mean, you are hashtag bodybuilder all day long as a right. You have that genetic predisposition with the wide shoulders, small waist, things are happening. I mean, everybody would want to look like you. You are like Chris Cormier type of physique. You know what I mean? So now you're back in a big way, and you did it in 5 weeks. In 5 weeks, which is for some people. Yeah, we were criticizing your condition in sense of it could have been better. It's not like you were off or anything. But when you compete with Akeem, who was ripped to pieces, and stuff like that. But yeah, most importantly, you put yourself back in contention. I don't know if you can do this. What Dennis recommended: stem cells. I didn't believe it myself. I was offered, and my shoulder and knee were night and day difference. I can't even, when you don't expect something, and then it's 10 times better than I ever expected. So maybe it should be something. But listen, give yourself a credit, put a smile on your face, make sure, and go for the next season.
Yeah,
I'll definitely take on board all the feedback everyone said, because I've watched the last podcast. And although I'm telling the story of sort of like what's happened and it's been a rough 2 years, if you would have told me 5 weeks ago that I'm going to step on stage and look the best I've looked and place fourth in a lineup of 26, 27, I would never have believed it. So me sitting here right now, although you might not see it, I'm so happy, even being on this podcast right now, because if I didn't have that mindset of a doctor saying 5 weeks ago, you can't compete, I would never have done it. But always in my mind, it's, I love bodybuilding. I want to get on stage. I want to compete. So I'm very happy with what I've achieved, but I'm also don't feel like I'm finished. So whatever needs to be done in terms of if it's stem cells, if it's looking at different countries and what they can offer, I still think there's more to definitely offer for me. And ultimately, I want to win a pro show. I want to get to Olympia stage. Yeah. You guys have done it. I've watched you growing up. My coach when I turned pro was Ernie Taylor.
Oh.
So I know you guys. I know the history of bodybuilding. I know the golden era. This is what I like to see, and I'm trying to bring that back to the stage. And I still know that there's another level in me to show. And the fire, what's in me right now, what's been there since 2022, is through the roof.
Yeah, and I think you should, because what if you keep it up now with the posing and don't stop, don't get stiff, just keep posing even now in off season or when you're not doing anything, just keep, just work on your flexibility a little bit, because I think it has a lot to do with that too. Because if you don't move for a long time, you're going to stiffen up.
Yeah, that's right. So I've actually paid for a machine what the physio uses, which is, I took it out with me to when I was out in Alicante as well. I put some videos up. So it's electrotherapy, but it's ultrasound as well. So it works on the inflammation. It works on keeping the shoulder mobile. It's that powerful that could actually burn a hole through your skin. So I'm doing all I can in the meantime to still keep myself moving forwards.
You have a stretching coach? There are those out there in England. People are just professional stretchers. I think that would be beneficial.
Yeah, I'm looking into everything. My coach is on my back right now saying we need to, if we can even get an extra 15% mobility on top of what you got now, then that is a big difference on top of my physique. So
I'll be honest, after you just said everything, I see what you're saying, but I didn't see any of that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and the only thing that Chris saw, because Chris, he pays closer attention to things. When I like something, I'm just gonna like it. Fuck it. I don't care about the flaws. You know what I'm saying? Chris looks
Yeah.
different, so he saw the things that I didn't even see. That that you're a little one-sided. But I tell myself, nobody is equally balanced. That's
Yeah,
just not possible. Not even
right.
this eyebrow is lower than this one. And I'm always pushing this one up to make it look the same. You know what I'm saying? This is normal. But if you can just keep it up the way it is right now, because listen, I guess no one knew what you went through to get there. Probably
Yeah. So
the people you know. So
yeah.
I
So
think. Go
so
ahead.
I was actually quite quiet about this for a long time because I won't deny there was a point where it's almost like a point of depression because to to be so close, like I've done 6 pro shows and only my pro debut when I placed 7th. I've always placed in the top 5, so I've been close. When I placed in 2022 behind Patrick Johnson, I was 1 point off qualifying. And backstage, Patrick was angry. He was like, he thought he lost to me. I had Rolly Winkler coming from the stage, like, man, what did you do from the Arnolds to now? Because you've got this show. But I didn't win it, and rightly so, because condition still wasn't there. But for me, how I wanted to approach this prep. So I didn't actually post any physique updates. And it's not because I wasn't confident in how I'm looking, but I wanted to go back to how it used to be like when I won my pro card with Ernie. Instagram is a great tool for advertising how you're looking, but how you look on Instagram is not how you look on stage. So what I wanted to do was just work in silence, do my work, then step out on stage, leave it to the judges, the crowd, you guys, and just be like, well, this is my physique. Judge me on what you see here, not on what you see on Instagram. And like I said, I'm really pleased with what I delivered because I did not expect to even compete this year. And if anything, the fire what's in here now is even more than before.
Yeah, I like that attitude, man. That's how I think I would do it if I was in the age of social media. I wouldn't be putting every little single, detail like that. But I was gonna say, even though you took 4th, it was a few shots and a few moments of the prejudging that you could have been closer to 2nd or 3rd, or whatever. I mean, you were that good enough to where, uh, I think the other guys could say the same. Like some shots, you was right up there. It could have been a lot closer to the top, and so on. So it's
Yeah.
great.
Most
I
importantly, you have that physique. There's no way you can be a fan of bodybuilding and not like Marc Hector's physique. You know what I mean? There are different types of bodies and the structures, but you flow. Everything flows perfectly, right? And I didn't know about you doing legs doubling up, and then I read somewhere that last time your legs were not your strong point,
yeah,
because now you couldn't see that they were not strong point. Everything was there.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, Chris was the one pinpointing differences left and right side or something about that. And like Dennis says, if you really just glance it, you probably wouldn't catch it. But if you deeply analyze it, like Chris always does, he saw it. So hopefully, look, like Arnold did this in pumping iron when he did this twisting back shots from left to right, and then he went faster, 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 and it becomes automatic, right?
Yeah.
What I tell people, the mandatory poses that you're gonna have to hit, you should be hitting hundreds of times, like Robbie Robinson was teaching Chris 200 times hit the same shot.
Yeah, Kylie's going to put some pictures up real quick from
Oh,
Hector. We're
yeah, I
going to
want to
go on
see.
his page, see what we can look at. Let's scroll up a little bit. Let me see what a little bit up. Is there video coming up? There, no, to the left. I think.
The top videos from my posing routine at the very top, what I've pinned
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's click on that.
on today.
So again, let me look for your issues.
So it's the right shoulder.
Okay.
Yeah.
So purposely, I've picked poses here, what doesn't necessarily display or show that.
Yeah, I see what you're doing, but you hide it very well. You know, you're just doing the things that you. So at this moment, I want to see like a front double.
Okay.
It's probably not the routine. Kylie, let's look if we can find any other. Get that. What about Those are all pictures. No, that's a video too.
I'm not sure if it's maybe posted on maybe like a Big Man Weekend show or something. So that's just some pictures there with my coach.
Yeah.
Coach is why.
Okay.
Let me get.
As you guys are looking at it, I want to ask an important question. Mark, what do you think of your best 5 poses?
What do I think are my best 5 poses?
Yeah. What are your favorite? If you want to show the world only 5 poses, which one would you show?
Definitely a most muscular. I like the most muscular with my hand on the hip, and then coming around into the crab. A side chest, I believe it is one of my strong shots, because I don't think you see many open guys now with the serrations through the shoulders and the serrations through the chest. So I think that's a great pose. I still feel my rear lat spread, the width of my back is a lot wider than most because of my waist being so small. I think a side tricep, again, because of my hamstring drop, shows more depth to my legs than what I never had before. And then I think an abs and thighs variation, again, because of my waist, whether that's both hands overhead or one hand above.
Okay. I didn't see that in your posing routine exactly. You know, you came down in a lunging pose and, wasting time presenting something that is not as important. And I want to give you this, and whoever is listening, when you have those few moments or 1 minute or 90 seconds that the judges can see you, you present absolutely the best. I want you to see what I'm showing you right now. So there's no time for, being creative and moving left and right, up and down, and, forgetting the stomach and stuff like that. You need to impress me, right? So I would ask you, for example, which poses? So you said most muscular, great. The side chest, side triceps. Okay, so already you have a strong side shots. You have a lot of muscular shots. So something with arms up, whatever that would be, into the most muscular, whatever choice might be, into the side chest, side triceps as you flow, but don't waste time. Think of everybody's taking 1,000 shots, pictures, and they're gonna be all published. So you don't want to, like in between, that they can publish the photo that you're breathing, stomach is not in, right? Yeah. It doesn't take as much practice, I promise you. It's just like your strongest poses and then connect them in an order and sequence that makes sense. Yeah. You have that beauty of the physique. When you come on the stage, this face would not work. You have to come with the confidence, right? On the stage, it's not like you were not confident on stage, but there is a difference from, let me show you, or let me just work it. I know I have to do the posing, so I'm just going to work it off. You have to step on the stage like so excited. You waited for me for 2 years now, look at it, and then I show my best. Sorry for my opinion, but I'm a huge fan of your physique. You have that something special, like, oh my God. So now get conditioned perfectly, move so you can hit the poses, put a couple of more pounds. You're a top contender.
Thank you. Well, everything you say, all of you, I take it as constructive feedback. I'm not a person who would sit here and think what you're saying is negative. I respect your opinion. So like even Dennis going back and saying pose multiple times in the off season, you saying about picking the poses. I came off stage and I practiced a posing routine, and my initial thought was, I'm not happy because I hit too many most musculars and I didn't need to hit that many most musculars. So the things you're saying and the feedback, I appreciate it. I see it as constructive. And if you want to be a better bodybuilder, which I want to be, if people like yourself, who's been around the industry, is trying to give me feedback, I'm taking that on board. I'm like a sponge. You tell me what I need to work on, and I'm going to work on it. But if I don't believe that there's substance to what you're saying because you've not been around it, then I'll dismiss it. But what you guys are saying to me, this is gold for me right now. I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, about since we're on the physique, if you get the abs popping more, I don't know how much ab work you do, but you can actually work them every other day, every day, whatever you want to do. But I would do that year round. Work on the sides, not no TikTok type of motion, but the twist.
What's TikTok motion, Chris?
Yeah.
I think you mean TikTok social media. So.
Oh, this shit.
Oh,
I don't fuck your shit up. I did that.
Chris, do you advise people use weights when they train their abs?
Yeah, with the crunch machine,
Okay.
or rope crunch.
So, but when people start doing this with dumbbells,
No.
nah. Okay.
But and then the lower
That
abs,
thickens
work
the waist.
the bottom two lower abs, but you got to have a stronger ab look to your physique because you have all this round stuff going on. So that's got to match. And a lot of guys don't do it, and they think like, the last few weeks, you all have abdominal walls. So a lot of people act like they don't really need to do it, but it's very, very important to your physique in all poses. And then that should be a strong point for you to hit. And like Milos was saying, have an idea exactly, I'm going to hit these exact shots. There's no other shots that I need to hit. And, back when I had my first Olympia, there was no time limit in 94. There was no time limit. So you could do all the kind of little stuff and whatever you want to do up there. But now it's a time limit, depends on.
It's 3 minutes.
Oh, it's 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's 3 minutes.
3 minutes,
The judging is like 90 seconds or something.
Yeah. That you mean like the way you usually do the mandatories?
Fix yourself.
Yeah.
So that, and then keep picking apart that back of yours, making it better and better. Because as you know, there's a lot of guys that don't have a great back in the pro league. That can expose some different areas, and you improve the legs a lot, which is great. Keep working the legs, keep working the hams and stuff, and the chest. Everything's coming up good, man. So we saw a big improvement. Everybody was pretty excited. I saw you come in. I've been watching your YouTube a little bit. So I've been watching you coming through. So I was really happy with what I saw, though. I'm just happy that it didn't affect you that much, and you being smart about your poses. And I just want to have one question about, you said you posing twice in the morning?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
What does that consist of?
So I'm doing full rounds. So I've actually got a timer. So I set the timer and I set it for 20 seconds. So my girlfriend, she's also an IFBB pro, so you can see some of the stuff behind me. So she actually won the Romania show a few weeks ago. So she's qualified for next year's Olympia. So
figure?
No, for bikini.
Oh, bikini.
Yeah, so she's qualified. So when we're doing check-ins in the morning, send it over to our coaches. She's got a timer. She's timing when we're doing posing. If something's off, like if she doesn't think my lower abs are tight enough or something, she'll say, we need to control that. Let's do this pose again. So that's where I was going with the posing side of things. But where I had to be careful was because of my shoulder and the inflammation, there were certain poses that I didn't do because I didn't want to make it more inflamed. So I just had to be smart on how much I posed and when I was doing it as well.
Understandable, yeah. But see, you have that extreme V taper, and that's what is beauty of bodybuilding. So you have this super teeny tiny waist going into. So this is what Chris saw you maybe beating some guys that beat you, right? But in general, I backed off to actually pose to give you the
Forget about your foot.
But I forgot I have it too. But
Be the collapsed.
I'll try just like a few seconds.
We don't need a second accident, Milos.
Yeah, I'm looking at Marc's physique and just thinking. Okay, so your strength and beauty is just like your front relaxed pose, right? So there are anything you want to do, whatever you want to do. So something up. What can you do? Frontal biceps, Frank Zane, archery. So something up. So relax, something up. Then you say most muscular. Okay, most muscular. Any of those, right? It's already there. Arms are here. Right away, easy for a light spread. You don't waste time. Here, something to the side, whichever side. You want to do Sean Ray or or you want to do.
Oh, you named that post Sean Ray? Oh, Sean's happy. Sean's happy.
I don't
Sean's
know.
probably happy to hear that. Look at
You know,
this.
but
As long,
whoa,
as
whoa.
long as you don't get me doing the Andy Taylor trying to do the splits or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah. No, but you know what I'm thinking is exactly. You pick your best poses with arms up, best with the arms down, and whatever on one side and one on the other side, and then just connect them, and then pay attention to the abs as Chris saw. And in that video that I briefly saw, I saw very good abs, and then I've seen them losing them.
Yeah.
Not lose abs on a stage. That's a big mistake, especially with the teeny tiny waist of yours, right? So next time when you're posing, just think, write it, top 10 poses, this, and then connect them. And then you do it.
I'm going to give you a call next time. We go through it.
Absolutely. Listen, I love it. I was going to dissect your posing routine, but I didn't want to be harsh. Like, okay, for me, this is mistake. That's mistake. You shouldn't do this. You should do something else, right? Especially when you change levels. There are guys that go down and they go up and go straight down again, and it doesn't make sense. You know, if you go in this direction, continue that direction. You can switch to the other, continue. But don't change your mind in between, and then arm goes up, and then, oh, I changed my mind, I'm going to go down. Yeah. So even though they're not judging posing, which I think is ridiculous, you have it's not what you have, it's what you show. So give them the show.
Yeah.
You have that physique.
I think part of my posing routine, not to try and get out of it, some of the poses what I miss. So if previous posing routines, what I've done the archer poses, I've done the Mohammed Makaway sort of poses, I've done the surgery break. I know those poses. I've done the Sergio Olivier Jr. poses. I've got those from previous routines. But I had to try and be smart because I don't want to expose more of my physique where I don't feel it's strong enough, where they think, oh, well, he could have been fourth, but maybe it's fifth because although we're not judging it, we didn't see that before. So I was trying to be smart, but I take everything you say on board because I look back at my routine and I was like, why did I hit so many most musculars? Because I didn't need to.
Yeah, but still, that's
automatic because this is what your body is most comfortable with. That's why you have to practice the other poses so you get as comfortable as you do when you do a most muscular. And that way you don't have that issue.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
definitely.
but
it's mind to be able to go up there, Dennis. To the strong mind of his to be able to go up there.
Yeah. That shows you that he's he can go through adversity, which is fine. My advice to you is, because you don't heard it all, my only advice to you is work on your mobility. That's it.
Yeah.
Everything else will fall into place. Work on your mobility so you can get your arms back up, so you can be confident when you hit that shot. Because I watch a couple of things from you. You do a real lat spread where you can see that this is not the same as the other side, but you never do a back double unless it's a mandatory pose.
Yeah.
And you need to get comfortable doing that again because you have a good back.
Yeah. But you know what's crazy? Up until, because my girlfriend competed in Budapest probably about 7 weeks prior to me deciding I was going to compete. And I've never had a Thai massage before. And I know it sounds crazy, but I actually went and had a Thai massage, not probably what you guys are thinking. But
I never had one.
And I had one.
Milos took them all.
And I was taking my checking pictures. That's what So having my checking pictures taken from my coach, and I thought, let me just try a rear double bicep. And my arm moved to a rear double bicep. And I kid you not, I could not hit a rear double bicep for over a year.
And all of a sudden you could. She had you pretty loose, huh?
Yeah, I was that. So my point is how far I've come from sort of where I was to now. And because I still got that mobility, because I'm still quite lean. So I'm going to reverse that at this show slowly. I'm not going to be that bodybuilder who puts on 10 kg in 2 weeks because that's not the way I do it.
Okay.
Especially not coach. So this gives me the opportunity to still keep doing the poses. And as I still build up the muscle, to still practice like you guys are saying I need to do as well.
All right. So from now on, you have to incorporate, starting now in off season, twice a week, Thai massage.
Yeah.
Let's say hello to Carrie. She's right there taking her pictures.
Who?
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
helping Carrie.
she's there.
Yeah,
She
all right.
She's
years
where?
ago, she's
Who?
actually upstairs. So Kerry's my girlfriend. She's the
Oh,
one who's qualified for bikini. But years ago, you helped her with a tan,
No,
Milos.
she forced me to put the tan on her glutes.
So my girlfriend was at a show and said that her tan was
Worse
off.
than me.
And she said, well, no one
So
else is
bad.
around.
I'm
You're
sure.
going to have to do it.
I'm sure she had to put a gun to Milos's head.
You know?
Yeah, I was like,
So bad.
okay. All right. It's hard job, but somebody has to do it. Yeah, you guys are a great couple. I love it. And she's
Hey,
Go on.
hello. Hello. How you doing? Good to see
hello.
you.
Nice
We
to see
just
you again.
we just heard about your glute story.
Yeah.
Literally on my own in China as an amateur, and he was like, "Oh, your tan is like off on your glutes," and I was like, "Well, no one else is understanding me, so I guess you're gonna have to do it."
Yes, exactly. Not that I was paying attention.
Yeah, no, but you had to point it out. You just couldn't. You just couldn't let it go.
It was probably perfect, but I just made it up, you know. Hey, good to see you.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy to see that you're so supportive of Mark. Mark, you have what it takes. There is three of us. Even going into the show, I'm gonna confess, I didn't put you as high because I didn't know what to expect. You were gone for a while, so I didn't. But I know your physique. So if you would bring what you actually brought, I would have put you up there. And for sure, next time you're competing, when we do predictions, you're gonna hear very high predictions from me. You have everything that it takes. If you put together, people are in danger.
Yeah. And like I said before, I think I mentioned it, that I thought that you compared best with Akeem. So if you would have been probably better conditioned, I think that would have helped you a lot.
Yeah. It's the first time I've worked with my coach. So the coach who I'm working with now, he's from the UK. He's a pro as well. So throughout the week, there was different points during the week. So we started to sort of like carve up from a week out. And as we got closer to the show, we sort of started to taper down because condition was already secure. So I could show you pictures from like the start of the week and my glutes were peeled. But the problem is we were trying to find a balance between bringing size and condition. And with only one show, we tried to get it somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, with only 5 weeks, you somewhat got to roll the dice anyway. So give yourself 3 months next time, and then I'm sure you have a better outcome.
Yeah. But I had been dieting before, so it wasn't just a 5-week diet.
Okay.
I had dieted down before. So in total, it wasn't that long, really. But I don't get fat in the off season because I don't believe in blowing out the waist. I'm trying to grow just enough, but keep the waist tight as well.
How old are you, Mark? How old are you?
I'm 37.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're not that old.
37.
Not that old.
Yeah.
You never know with brothers how old they really are. They look like they're in their 20s and they come, oh, I'm 43. Yeah. Yeah.
So similar to Andrew and Samson, right?
Yeah. So what changed in England? What can you say? Because you live in England, obviously. So what changed in England since Samson, captured the title?
So I know he's been doing quite a few UK tours. I think even since he placed, because he won the Arnolds when he was working with Milos, and when he placed third at the Olympia, a lot of talk has been about him, how good he's looking, and also the sort of aesthetics, the sort of physique he's got. And I haven't got Samson's size as such, but when I see bodybuilding moving in that direction with the sort of shape I've got, that's where I feel like this best suits me. There's a lot of pros now within the UK where you've got people who, like you mentioned, James Hollingshead, who has great physiques, who's qualified, but it's a thicker, denser physique. And I think the way bodybuilding going now is towards a Samson sort of look, which that's the look I personally like. But I think for him now, he's just gone to a whole nother level in terms of exposure because he's the first one since Dorian Yates to have won from the UK.
Yeah. Did you guys see HADIS update yesterday?
I don't know. Is this possible that that's now?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I sent him the message because I said, "Hadi, is this now?" He didn't answer me because if this is now, that's ridiculous.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think with Hadi, I think if he comes up short, that fills another fire. And I think with Hani retiring, I think he's just, I don't know. I think he's just going. He wants to go for another one.
But there's no way you can be this ripped in the middle of no time.
He's been like this before. Maybe he's jumping into the Arnold.
I mean, speaking of that, he should. Depending,
I think so too.
And I mean,
maybe he's doing the Arnold. I don't know.
It cannot be not. His pedal. The pedal is down right now, so he's going.
Do you know what I'm talking about, Mark?
I've not seen the update.
Can you, Kylie? Can you check Hadi Chupan's Instagram? And he posted a video yesterday. He posing. It's fucking ridiculous.
Let me see if he answered.
He looked so impressive in that video.
So I was at the Arnold's UK when Samson and Hadi was going at it, and seeing that in person, that was...
Yeah, but in the UK, he wasn't as good as in Columbus. It's the video, that video.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Is that the video? It's not something where he mentioned something about the show. Is that the video? I don't know. I don't think so. Hold on.
And the pictures.
Let me look at it. Let me look at it real quick. Which one it is?
That's the one. That's the one. And
it's the one. It's the one.
Subsequent pictures of it. Yeah, it looks crazy. Okay. Well, I confirmed with him, and he answered. I don't know if I should publicly say it. Maybe he doesn't want me to. So. Yeah.
We won't tell anyone if you tell us.
You don't tell him. That's not now.
It's not now?
No.
Okay.
Which it makes sense. Yeah. Actually, that's 2 weeks.
He was actually...
I'm sure he's not going to find
he was actually talking. He was talking about last year also. He's talking about the competitions for... He don't think he was judged exactly what was actually on the stage or whatever. Is that what he's pertaining to?
Yeah, that's from that same. But look at it. So that was 2 weeks out of the Olympia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he looked out of this world. Like Dennis, I was saying that there's no way that he could be in this kind of condition December or whatever it is today, far away from the shows. This was
unless he's doing the Arnold.
Arnold, yeah. But even so, I mean, this is not like 11 weeks out condition.
But remember last year after he lost, you remember last year after he lost the Olympia? Thanks, Kylie. After he lost the Olympia, he looked fucking like he was ready all year. He did the Arnold. He won the Arnold, and between the Arnold and the Olympia, he didn't get off the gas.
Yeah,
huh?
Yeah, he's been 8 weeks out, looking like he can compete next Friday.
Yeah,
these kind of things. But this is
can Hadi win the Olympia again?
Of course, man.
What has to happen for that? Does Samson has to come in off?
Probably. I mean, Samson is formidable opponent. I mean, he has everything: size, thickness, shape, small waist, V-taper. Presentation, everything, but he doesn't have that granite hard look that Hadi does. And Hadi creates illusion of the size. You pointed out to me, Dennis, before, okay, look, it's 60, 70 pound difference between them, but you don't see this in many poses, right?
What I'm saying is Samson has, he got to be at least as good as he was or even better. He can't get any worse.
Yeah.
That's when you are on the top. Now they're going to judge you by your last show. So now he's doing the Arnold.
Yeah.
Which I think he will be great at the Arnold. I think he's gonna battle a little bit with Andrew, but he's still just superior to Andrew. I think unless Andrew makes some drastic changes that I don't think he has the time to.
What do you see happening with Andrew and and Samson at Olympia with Andrew on, because Andrew's been off the last two Olympias.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's the problem. And Andrew has a couple of flaws that he needs to fix. I'm not saying he can't fix it, but I think he needs some time to fix it. So I don't know if he has the time to fix it between the Arnold and the Olympia, because it's definitely not enough time to fix it for the Arnold.
You know, I was mistaken. I thought that they didn't put Samson and Andrew next to each other, but I was watching last night. There was a moment when Samson and Hadi were pushed out, and Derek and Martin were pulled in, and Samson was right next to Andrew. I think that Andrew should have placed third at the Olympia. If you rewatch the videos, you know, you could see that. I mean, yes, conditioning, like we are saying for Marc this time, conditioning was not spot on, but you were not off. And then when you have a beauty of that physique and V-taper X frame and so many things going for, I think that Andrew was just like tremendous standing there. I mean, from the front, everything was crazy. And from the back, it's quite good. Okay, so for me, if I was judging, I would give Andrew top 3 at Olympia last year, being off. So if he's on, how good is he?
I wish we will be able to see what Chris Aceto saw a couple of days before the Olympia.
And when he was saying, show's over. Yeah.
Literally, I wish we could see, maybe I don't know. But I think the Arnold is there for him to redeem himself, and I think whatever mistake they made, they won't make it the Arnold. So I think this will be a good indication of what's going to happen at the Olympia this year.
I mean, great indication.
Yeah. So, but we don't even, shouldn't the Arnold lineup come out this week?
Yeah. Sometime in December, always.
It's usually before Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm sure it's getting close.
Huh?
I'm sure it's getting close to coming out.
So, but who do we know so far? We know Samson is doing it. Who else is doing it that we know?
I heard Labrada might be.
Might is not enough for me to say yes. So we know, all we know is Samson, right?
Yeah.
And Andrew, of course, yeah. That's it. I wonder who else that could challenge them, both of them. I don't think, if Martin is not doing it and Hadi is not doing it and Derek is not doing it, maybe Derek's doing it.
Maybe Derek, maybe, just maybe.
Would you advise Derek to go for the Arnold now since he lost? He got third place at the Olympia.
He has 500,000 reasons for it.
500,000 reasons, yeah.
If I was him, I would do it.
Me too. What do you say, Marc?
I think when you've already qualified for the Olympia and you don't need to qualify for further shows, I like the way what Samson does where he competes in multiple shows because you've got the time. And for someone like Derek, he's got enough mass on him. All he needs to do is get in condition and present better. For me, for what I see of him at the Olympia, it wasn't his best. So why not go and do another show which has got high prestige and almost redeem yourself, compete, battle against someone who's won the Olympia? Because anything could happen. On a given day, if you turn up the way you should turn up and someone's slightly off, you could take that win, and then that's the momentum then for you going into the next Olympian. It's the same with Hadi as well.
Yeah.
These people have great physiques, and you've seen the results when Hadi won at the Arnold's UK, but then Samson won at the Olympia. Anything can change.
Yeah.
That's my favorite English word. In it.
In it.
I love that shit. In it.
You were mentioning
Is that what Dorian Yates said to you after Temple Gym that time?
Oh, yeah. For sure. Man, that was crazy. I was looking at that the other day, man. I was reliving that. I was like, shit.
Before I was never in conversation, prize money could be a reason, you know? So he said, like, oh, he should redeem himself. But back in the days, we were competing for maybe chump change, let's say. Now it's 600,000 there, 500,000 here. In second place, I don't know. I mean, how can you say no to that?
If I would be competing today, and I would be one of those front runners, top 3, top 4, top 5, which means there's always a possibility that some of these guys are off.
Yeah.
You couldn't possibly hold me back from doing these shows.
Of course. That's what I don't understand.
I would be on the Arnold. I would be prepping for the Arnold before they even announced the fucking lineup.
Yeah.
I swear to God, there wasn't even be. I wonder what happened. It's 500 fucking thousand. Worst case scenario, let's say for a guy like Derek. Worst case scenario, you're gonna get what, second, third? And you go home with 150.
Or more. God knows.
Yeah, or 200, 250 or whatever second place is.
Don't you think bodybuilding's changed in the sense where?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They used to do a circuit. You used to see them go from show to show to show.
Yeah.
So like what Samson's doing now,
And I'll tell you what, Mark.
Was.
Mark, I'll tell you what. And if there would still be a circuit, even if the prize money would be low, the guys would still do it.
Yeah.
But the athletes, I mean, the promoters not committing to it because it costs money. And then when you don't get the guys to compete, you lose out on selling tickets because, if let's say you promote an amateur show, amateurs, they pay entry fee, pros don't. So in order to put on a pro show, you want to sell tickets. But you got to have some names in the show. And if the guys don't want to commit until a week out, that's not helping you as a promoter.
Have to do nothing. Yeah, but I think there's got to be some type of communication or some formula or some kind of way to talk to the guys throughout the year and getting guys to commit early on to doing something like that.
But Chris, you see, it used to be a contract. Now you have until Monday before the show to sign the contract, to apply for the show. I don't even know if there is a contract. Obviously not. I mean, Nick Walker just pulls out a week out from the Olympia and there's no consequences.
It's got to be something to where people know, hey, this is what's going down. I'm gonna get ready. But
that's not even the point. The point is it shouldn't even be this way. It shouldn't be a concern. Every fucking promoter should know that this guy's going to get on stage. If you offer, listen, I know it's overseas. I know it costs money, but if there's 4 or 5 shows within a month, then why not just go do them all?
Yeah.
Yeah, but just let's put this in perspective. Arnold Classic, that's not any kind of show.
I know. I'm not talking about the Arnold Classic.
Yeah, but Chris, you were second 6 times. There's
third. One time it was third. He just got second.
Yeah. Dexter Jackson, Kevin Negroni. I mean, Paul Dillette was there, Lee Priest, you name it. Vince Taylor. That was the most prestigious. Mini Olympia. It's like whoever is at Olympia, Jay Cutler, right? They would come straight into the Arnold. Arnold raising the prize money, making it ridiculous. You would think that 7 out of top 10 Olympians are going to sign up for it.
I'm surprised that we don't know from more guys this year to do the Arnold. I mean, especially, can you imagine what some of these guys said after they heard Arnold saying next year prize money, first prize $500,000? I bet you people were sitting at home watching the live app because I'm doing the Arnold next year. I'm doing the Arnold.
Mark, you in the gym with the guys and in this generation. Are guys, in your opinion, afraid to lose or afraid to? Is it like a ratio wins to losses in the mindset of some of the guys, or what do you think it is?
I think it's a hard one to say. In my opinion, it's almost like I think people are trying to pick the easier shows to qualify. So I think where things have changed is you used to be able to qualify on points. Now you got to win to get in. So if you look across the board, like the shows have been released now for next year, you're probably going to see. So some people who have competed back end of the year might think, I'm not going to compete early because I need to do a health phase or I need to get right. So I'm going to compete later on. Now, for myself, if there was more shows to do now, for me personally, after that last one, I'll be jumping into the show because my body feels fresh and I'm ready to go. But I think the difference is now as well is I think when someone qualifies, they feel like that's it. I can now just concentrate on the Olympia. Where when for myself, I want to qualify, but then I want to do maybe another 1 or 2 shows to practice the peak, because you want to go to the best show and know exactly this is how I want to look. And if you only get one shot,
Yeah, but
then
Mark, I can understand if someone says, "Okay, I qualified, I'm out."
Yeah.
I can understand that. But other than that, as an IFBB professional bodybuilder, I want to be remembered on pictures standing next to the best guys. So, and if you have that attitude that you're going to pick the easiest show, there's no guarantee that you're going to win and qualify. So you probably never get a chance to stand on the Olympia stage next to some of these guys that everyone knows. So you always get pictures standing next to guys that no one knows who that is next to you. So now, for me, it wasn't about what show. For me, it was to stand next to these guys, all these guys. I stood next to in the middle, in between, you know, in pictures that will last forever. You know, I didn't give a shit if I won or not. I was standing there with the best of the best. How many people can say that?
So that's the same with me. So doing Big Man Weekend, I was 4th, so I never got the chance to be in the centre next to Akeem. But when we came back for the finals, they moved things around, and I've had that chance to stand next to Akeem. So now I've looked at pictures, and I've looked at Akeem's physique as a top 10 Olympian. I've looked at mine, and I've used that now. I think, well, this is the gap. This is the benchmark. What I need to work towards if I need to close this gap to get myself to that. So I understand what you're saying, and I in this league now, I don't think there is no easy shows, but you need to put yourself out there to have the opportunity to qualify.
And you're getting better and better. You're getting to understand your body more. You're getting understand your peak better. Everything.
See, if you think about it, my first pro show, I flew to New York to the Night of Champions, which probably was the fucking biggest show when it comes to numbers that was out there. Not because I thought I'm going to go there to win, because I knew that's the Night of Champions. Just like the show said, Night of Champions. You got to do that show, you know? I didn't give a shit. I thought I was way better than I was, to be honest. I thought I had a shot. I thought I had a shot to get the first call out.
That was 2001?
No,
99.
99.
Yeah.
Oh, right away then.
That was,
right away.
literally right after the year after the USAs. Got my ass handed to me.
You want to get on stage right away and
no,
compete?
Chris, it was almost a year. I mean, from July to May.
But it was as soon as you can get on it.
But listen, basically. But I knew I was in my mid-30s. I didn't want to waste no time. Right. You know, I was lucky enough to beat MILOS at the Night of Champions, so he helped me to put on a couple of pounds. You know,
after that.
That was after. I said after. That was for the Arnold. I was going to get to that, but no, I wanted to get on stage because I figured, you know, because you know back then, and I said it last week. Back then, you win the USAs, you get this Flex magazine spread. Everybody knows this is a new IFBB pro. Blah blah blah. So I figured, you know, you got to get on that stage. You know, got my ass handed to me. It was 50-something guys. I fucking in when we did the call outs. I was in row number 3 somewhere.
But Dennis, do you think that helped you then moving forward for future shows?
No, no. I was depressed when I left there. I didn't even do my photo shoot with Flex, you know. But like I said, I was lucky enough to meet MILOS, you know, and he took me to a level where I didn't even know that was possible because I was a rookie with everything, literally with everything.
Dennis was gonna quit right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, but
Chris, you never felt like this. Fuck this shit.
I did it. I put the pressure on myself every time I went to compete.
Yeah.
Said if I don't fucking place where I should place, I ain't doing this no more. I'm done.
But that was the immediate reaction. Like you walk up.
I made sure. Yeah, but I made sure. I made sure even at the national level, USAs and stuff like that, I was like, with the people in this show, if I don't win it, I'm going to do something else. This is not for me because I don't want to be just a regular guy doing this stuff.
Yeah,
and all this
but
stuff.
you grew up into this with the top guys.
Yeah.
See, I came from fucking Thailand. I didn't know shit. All of a sudden, I'm in the middle with these guys that I'm fucking admiring in magazines.
Yeah.
I was like, all of a sudden, I'm competing next to these guys. You think I will let that chance pass by? I would jump on that stage in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And that's why I did.
I made the decision early on as a teenager that this is what I want to do. So I was doing 7 shows in a row as a teenager, and I was whooping up and down, looking for anybody to go up against.
Yeah.
From Mr. Inglewood, I won. Mr. San Diego, I won. Northern California, Southern California, won. Teenage Mr. California, Teenage Nationals. Then I started looking abroad. I started looking in Europe. Who the hell's in Europe that I can go against? That's the top teenagers. And then I was like, okay, the men's division. I went to the Mr. Palm Springs, Mr. California, Mr. USA. I took 4th in USA, and then the next year I won it. So, I mean, I was just looking to keep challenging myself, keep going up there.
Hell yeah.
And, that's the way it was.
So
Speaking of prize money, Dennis, first time you won some major money and you realize, oh shit, there's the prize money. I forgot what it was, but I was like, holy shit.
What show? What show was it?
I don't know, maybe Arnold, right?
At the Arnold, I got 3rd. Yeah, no, the first Arnold, I got 4th.
Yeah, but you got some more money that you were expecting.
Listen, I was just happy that I got an invite. It was last minute. If he wouldn't have said, "No, there's no prize money," fuck it, I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't need no prize money.
I just want to get up there.
I just want to get up there. Listen, I was literally on edge waiting for a call, and I got the call on Wednesday morning or Wednesday early afternoon.
He had a cheesecake in the fridge, and he was going to eat it.
He said, fly out now. If you fly out now, you could still come. I flew out. Milos, you went with me.
Yeah, of course.
We flew directly to fucking Ohio, and I competed in my first Arnold. And I got to stand next to Flex, Chris,
Kevin,
Dexter, and I don't even know who else was behind me. But there was, that was for me. That was my
lineup.
Huh?
It was crazy lineup.
Crazy lineup.
Yeah, I was looking at that photo the other day. That same. Looking at that Arnold the other day.
The 2000.
Yeah, some photos.
Yeah. And I remember I said early on when I started competing in the 90s, mid-90s, and my friends in Thailand that I was hanging out with, and I started bodybuilding, and I started competing at NABA, and I did the universe there. I won the universe, blah, blah, blah. And I said, in year 2000, I remember, I never forget, I told those guys, I said, I'm going to be on the Olympia stage. And they told me, shut the fuck up and have another drink. He said, have this drink and shut your ass up. Like that. And in 2000, I made it to the Olympia with this Arnold, because back then it was top 5 that qualified for the Olympia.
Yeah.
That's why it's that. You couldn't fucking, that smile. It was so funny because the day before, Friday, back then they still had the Expo Friday. It was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I remember I was sitting at you remember that Europa booth they had, the Europa?
Yeah.
They let me sit there. The guy from the Europa, what was his name?
Eric Hillman.
Eric, yeah. He said he let me sit in that booth. So I sat in the booth and I had a couple of pictures from the USAs, and I'll never forget this shit. I'm sitting there, with my pen in my hand, shaking it and to make sure it won't dry out. And the people come up asking me, is that you? I was like, God damn it. Is that you asking me if that's me? Yes, that was it. I didn't sell a single photo, and then Saturday morning after prejudging, I went back to the expo and I sat there again and I started selling my pictures. That's how people all of a sudden, it only happens when you get on stage.
Yeah.
Now
I was going to tell Dennis, my first Arnold, no one even clapped for me. When they said, I didn't hear not one clap. Like, okay.
Hey, Dennis, that's one of those. I'm ready.
Yeah.
And then you slowly start to get more claps. People slowly start to know who you are and what you're about, and they slowly come on.
But wasn't that the fucking best feeling when you realize that all of a sudden you You get the love from people because it's your physique that's doing the talking, not your fucking Instagram and your fucking
Talking
videos.
before you do something.
You know, you know what I'm saying? Back then you had to earn it. You know, now you can create your following with Instagram just doing fucking, funny videos, which is fine. We just didn't have that. We just had to get on stage next to these guys and somewhat try to stand out enough for these fans to realize that, you have something going there for you. And I'm glad I did what I did, and I don't regret a single minute, to be honest. And that's why I'm telling the guys nowadays, because he's 37, you're at an age where you don't want to waste extra years. Take advantage.
If I never had this setback before, especially from 2022, I've been ready to compete since 2023. So already now, I know the calendar's come out. I'm already thinking, what shows am I doing next year? Because
tell me,
I want to get on stage. I want to qualify for the Olympic. You guys have all been there.
Tell me the shows you want to do next year.
So I've seen a list what's coming out, but I've not committed anything yet with my coach on where we go yet.
What are you looking at? Give me a couple of months.
So it's a question of, do I go early or do I go around the middle, what gives me a little bit more time to add some more fitness to my upper, because I've not been able to train my upper the way I would have liked it. And I still know, for me, there's more. That you get a feeling where you can hit a side chest or you can hit a most muscle and you feel like your skin's bursting. Mm-hmm. I never quite had that feeling on stage. And I know that comes down to, it's not just the carb, it's what you're doing training-wise as well. And I want to give myself a runway where I can actually put a bit more extra tissue on, but also bring that condition in as well. So,
but from my experience,
I would love to compete in America. I've never competed in America, but I would love to.
To what you just said, from my experience, if you have that feeling on stage, that means you're too full.
I was going to say that. Most of the time, you feel like that. Sometimes you can feel, if you have multiple shows, you might get that feeling. But to better on the flatter side than the over the side.
And that's the mistake what I made in 2022. So there were some pictures. There was quite a lot of hype around me in 2022. And I was posting some pictures in the gym where my top's off. You can see the striations, the delts, everything looks good. And
it's definitely.
I'm saying to people I'm flat, and people are in the comments like, "You're not flat." And the mistake was the coach at the time. We ate more food, and the condition and the lines, everything got blurred. And if I had looked how I looked on the Instagram on stage, it would have been a different look.
Yeah, you definitely have that fullness, that round muscle. That's exactly what I like. So you ain't got to worry about that. But there's plenty of shows for you to choose for next year. Even in Europe, there's going to be a lot of shows in Europe, open shows where you can compete. And I don't know if you think about when you say early. What would that be?
So there's shows middle of the year. There's some shows in the middle of the year, but again, it's a conversation to have with sorry, what was that?
Detroit and stuff like that. You mean middle or?
How early is Detroit? I'm not sure what.
Detroit is in March or April.
End of March or April, something like that. Maybe
It was
April.
published yesterday on the.
Last year it was a week after the Arnold. No, 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
If I ask you guys a question based on my physique, what you've seen at the weekend, do you feel I have enough mass to go and compete in an earlier show, or I need a bit more time to develop to then do a show in the middle of the year towards the end to qualify?
I would just go. I would go.
I would
just go.
I'll tell you this. I think if you dial it in to the condition that you should have, I think you would you look even bigger than you are right now. So I don't think you need to work on more size. You keep training and it eventually fill out, but I don't think you have to focus on any more size. I think you need to focus on mobility and condition.
Okay.
Yep. I second that.
Okay, so let's analyze this, Mark. You're 37 years old, okay? You don't have a commodity with all your injuries. I'm going to go heavy ass off season, put the size on. That would be a wrong thing to do. Even though I see the trained by JT, right? Yeah, I hope you're not following his super heavy, the suicide mission, you know.
What does this?
Responsible
What does
for
this
my-
mean? What does this mean?
I mean, so what I'm saying is that's how I've been. Mark, when I came 91 on IBB Pro scene, I looked like a man's physique. I didn't even look like a classic physique, right? But I competed year in, year out. Chris is mentioning, winning to losing ratio. I have the worst ratio in history of IBB. I won 1 out of 72 shows. I could care less, as Dennis said, being on a stage with Chris and Lee and Paul and Flex. And I mean, this is what he said. So you waited, you're finally back in. Mark Hector is back in. Now you're going to delay for later shows because you think you can really put some size on. How are you going to do that? You stay lean anyway, okay? So it's not like I'm going to gain 30 to lose 25 later, gain 10 to lose 8.
Yeah.
I mean, I am not. You have a beautiful physique. It's not like you're under construction and now you have to blow up your legs or chest or whatever. You are finished product, as Dennis says. Polish it. You come ripped to the bone, every striation, tie-in, separation, everything is going on. You have a kind of physique that, like, holy shit, that's beautiful. How much did you weigh?
I think I was 257 pounds.
That's, how tall are you?
5'10".
Yeah,
Okay.
you just as heavy as Dorian Yates was at his best.
Yeah, I mean,
If I was to send you pictures from a week out, you would look at me and you would say, that's the condition you need with the size, because the glutes were striated. The lower back, when I pull it back, you were seeing the Christmas tree. I know that.
And without seeing those pictures just now, I'm telling you this, 5% better than that. And you're right.
yeah.
And the abs is a quick fix. You can build the abs quickly. You have the genetic, but you have the genetic. So I mean, it's not like you gotta get something there that's not there. It's
I can
there.
tell you this, just to confirm it right now. And there is the first big show in Europe. It's literally an hour away from you. It's going to be at the FIBO, Open Bodybuilding. Okay, it's confirmed today. So
Dennis promoting, right?
I say what?
You're gonna be a promoter.
Yes, I'm gonna run the show with the FIBO together at the FIBO. Saturday, well, pre-production will be Saturday morning. The finals will be Saturday night at another event, at another venue. And it's open bodybuilding, men classic, figure, and bikini, four categories. There will be another one in Germany in September for all open categories.
Yeah.
So... And then there's the Italy shows, the Spain shows, there's shows in England. There's plenty of shows for you guys to choose from. So
if you're feeling froggy, want to compete in America, there's more shows there too.
yeah, there's.
Basically, said I need to go early. I should go early.
I tell you what I would do if I was you. I'm not telling you to do it. I'll tell you what I would do. I would do it. I would do the FIBO show.
Yeah.
After the FIBO, I would do the Pittsburgh. The week after Pittsburgh, while you're there, I will do New York. And then, what's after New York? Is there not another show? You have to look at the schedule. But you could possibly do.
Before New York, I think Detroit is before New York, right?
Detroit is before New York. No, I think Pittsburgh and New York is back to back.
Yeah, that's back to back. But before that time, that's when Detroit, because that's where
hold on.
that's what Martin did. Martin did that show.
I know, but last year it was 2 weeks after the Arnold in Ohio. I'm going to tell you right now.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I don't even know if the new calendar is already
End
up.
of March.
But I'm going to ask Dennis and Chris in front of you, Marc. So I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to tell them. Do you think that somebody that has injuries and is coming back at the age of 37 should focus on off-season and blowing up, or refining what he has and slowly put a couple of pounds at this age?
I think it's more of a peaking. It wasn't less like, because we, like I say, I know he had a big story and stuff, but
Yeah, but
You know,
now
get
from
more
here to
like
the next
teaching
year,
and
from here,
yeah.
and I don't want to disrespect your coach or make up your mind. I always say, as Socrates, I can't teach you anything. I can make you think. So if you think about it, you were injured, you're coming back, your shoulder is bad, and whatever else, and now you think, I need to put some more size. What requires putting more size? Training heavier, putting the size. What for? You have a beautiful physique. It just, work in progress. Couple
ability.
of pounds. Hmm?
To be honest, the feedback, what you're saying in terms of shows, I take that on board and it all makes perfect sense. And even the head judge who I spoke to, I asked him for feedback and he said, look, you've got such a tiny waist. You don't see a waist like that on people in bodybuilders. He said, he said exactly what you said. You need more polish and more condition. That was his feedback. He didn't say anything about size. He said, just keep that small waist and just have some more polish. So what you all are saying, it all makes sense. And if I was to show you pictures of updates, what I've taken since the show, I'm better than the show. And that's why I wish there was more shows right now. But it's the way it's fell.
I like to see him. Send me some on the DM.
I'll do that.
Give me some.
Yeah. You should have it ready and show us. For all our next guests.
Maybe we can. Send me some of them pictures, and maybe we can include them in the podcast.
I'll send you some out from a week out, even when I was in Alicante, where when I was pulling my arms back and you can see the Christmas tree, everything was in, everything was dialed in.
Yeah.
It was there.
Yeah, and we know you have a coach, you have a great support system. But if you ever have any questions or any type of, thing you want to talk about with any one of us, I'm sure we'll give you the time of day, whenever, man. So always feel free.
I do appreciate that. And like I said, even being invited on this podcast, I was like, to me, this is a big thing. Because
absolutely. And you qualify for the Olympia. We'll bring you back.
All of you guys are people I looked at and looked up to growing up. You're the era of bodybuilding that I followed. So like sitting here, having this conversation, taking on what you say, I see this as constructive feedback. And if you can't be a bodybuilder and take on constructive feedback, if you can't be a bodybuilder and get judged and say, well, you came fourth because of this, conditioning, then you're in the wrong spot.
Right. Man, we appreciate you making the time, my brother, especially because it was real quick. And I wish you nothing but the best. I'm looking forward to seeing you in 2025 to go kick some ass. Work on that mobility, man. Don't let that slide. Trust me. Every day you don't do it, it's gonna throw you back one day. So just stay on it. Keep moving the shoulder, because this is like my wife dealt with this. She had like a frozen shoulder, and it took a while, but you got to move it. If if you don't move it enough, it's just gonna freeze right up on you.
I hope to qualify.
Yeah.
I hope to qualify for Olympia and we watch it Mr. O next year.
My girlfriend's already qualified, so she's reminding me that she's qualified. So
yeah, they will save one room and put you guys in one room together.
Are you not? Are you? But were you Nigerian, or are you? What was your?
So my dad's from Antigua and my mum's from Jamaica.
Okay. Antigua. I've been there before. I like that. Area.
Caribbean blood. And my dad, again, he's got the small waist, the big arms, so it's just a genetic thing in that sense.
We appreciate you, my man. Chris, Milos, I thank you guys. I'm out of here. Peace out.
See you guys.
See you next time.